An alarming report revealing the number of Chicago police officers that have retired this year has already surpassed all of the retirements in 2018, and that they are on track to be the highest number in the department's history. In fact, one report claims Chicago gang members now outnumber the city's police officers by 10 to 1. This comes as the crime situation in Chicago grows out of control and there are calls to defund the police. Joining me is Lance Williams. He's professor at Northeastern Illinois University and the assistant director of Jacob C. Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's just start with these retirement figures. They're coming from the Police Pension Board. They were revealed by the Sun-Times. Why are so many officers retiring?
Well, first thing that I wanted to correct, I'm no longer the assistant director of the Carruthers Center of Inner City Studies, so I want to just make sure we don't put that misinformation out. But thanks. Thanks for having me, Sylvia. And yeah, so I think, one of the main reasons that Chicago police officers are retiring and moving on, it's just because of the stress affiliated with the job. There's been a lot of pushback on law enforcement across the United States of America with the social justice movement, a lot of criticism for aggressive policing, police brutality. And I just think that a lot of the officers are kind of at the point where they feel like this is a bit too much. The job is too risky. The rewards are not high enough. They're not being appreciated. And so I think a lot of them are moving on.
Yeah, I'm wondering, though, what kind of impact is this going to have, or is it already having on the city's crime rate? Is this why we've been seeing it so bad?
I think there's some influence of policing on crime and violence in Chicago, but we have to be really clear that the bulk of the crime and violence that we see in Chicago is not a result of police efforts or lack of police efforts. It's really a systemic, a social construct problem. We have a lot of problems with marginalization in these hotspot communities. Isolation, lack of job opportunities, educational opportunities, housing opportunities. Those are the main things that drive violence. And I think law enforcement is frustrated because it's asked to police situations that are really social and cultural in context, not really criminal. And so even with a massive police force, you're not going to solve the problem of violence that we have in Chicago.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about that more in a bit, but I want to address what's gone on with the superintendent. He met with the president this week along with some other police leaders, and he tweeted this, and I want to show you this tweet. He said, "We need a sense of urgency right now so we can save lives and serious consequences for those driving gun violence in our cities." Okay, now he's talking about getting federal help, which he is calling a strike force. When the Trump administration wanted to send in the feds, our city leaders said no way. Why do you suppose this is different now?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's different, and I would disagree with the superintendent. I mean, I agree that we need a sense of urgency, but again, this strong arm law enforcement approach to this is definitely the wrong-headed way to, I think about this. Again, most of the crime and violence that we see in Chicago, particularly in African-American communities, is not driven by gang activity. It's really interpersonal conflict. It's stress. It's anxiety that's really playing out amongst a group of young men who are so severely isolated from resources in society. Their frustration and anxiety plays out in violence. And then with easy access to weapons, it just makes the situation much worse.
Okay, so let's go back to something you just referenced, which is, does adding more policing stop crime? Historically, has that been shown to have an impact?
No, there's no evidence that shows that there's a correlation between the increasing of police officers and the reduction of crime and violence. I think what you will see is there's a perception of communities being occupied, which then again it increases the stress in those communities. People feel unsafe because the large presence sometimes when you see of law enforcement coming in. I think what we want to do is we want to try to reduce to the best of our ability, reduce the anxiety and the frustration and the stress in these communities. That's one of the main ways to get that violence down.
Okay, so we're talking community, and that's a really important aspect of this. The question is that part of the solution? So Lance, I want to talk to you about that, so stand by. We'll be right back with more from Lance Williams right after this break.